get this man a title shot. Manel Kape beats Almabayev by knockout in the third round, well, by TKO in the third round. And what a performance. I think, obviously, he did eye poke him at the end, but, like, I've seen a lot of people saying that, like, it wasn't, like, a full-on eye poke, where, like, it's proper, like, finger in the eye. It's more of, like, a glance across the eye. And I feel like I kind of agree with that, but, like, it's hard to even, like, say, oh, it's alright because it only glanced across. It still did get him in the eye, but I feel like that's taken away from how good the performance was. Almabayev is so good. He hasn't lost in 17 fights. He's smashed everyone so far in his fight in the UFC. And I think this fight couldn't get anywhere near Manel Kape on the feet. Manel Kape's footwork was so good. He'd always have his foot on the outside, control him when he'd throw his left hand, and he was flying. The biggest thing though, and the reason I think he should get a title shot now, is his takedown defense. His takedown defense is so good, so good. Almabayev couldn't take him down at all. He tried a couple times, defending it every time. His sprawls are so good because he has his hands so low that he's like prepared to sprawl when someone shoots in a takedown on them. And even when he has his hands up, he's still fast at getting them down. And what I think people are missing is, like, the highest level of any sport, really. Football, basketball, but MMA especially. A lot of the fighters are dirty fighters. John Jones, the greatest fighter of all time, one of the dirtiest fighters ever, pokes you in the eyes, oblique kicks you 100 times. Daniel Cormier, the same, he eye pokes people. Stipe, eye pokes. Like, eye pokes on. I think people are like, I don't know, like online I'm watching, and like people are kind of like discrediting Kape's performance and his win because he got an eye poke leading up to the finish. If we look at his last fight against Silva, obviously he did kind of get kicked in. He kind of kicked him in the groin, and then obviously finished him there. So it's kind of two controversial finishes, and they're really taking away how good his performance was. His striking and his ability to get away from shots and find the right range is like no other. He is so good at striking. His footwork's amazing, and I want to see him against Pantoja. He obviously fought Pantoja on his UFC debut. Super close fight. Pantoja did win, but it was a close fight, closer than a lot of Pantoja's other fights. Obviously destroyed Brandon Moreno, destroyed Brandon Royval, destroyed Kai Asakura. Like, Manel Kape's next. He's got the personality. He's called Starboy, so he knows in himself that he has this personality, and he has the characteristics and the charisma to be champion. And he's got a great team. Eric Nixon, his head coach, obviously just took Sean Strickland to a world championship, so he's super high level. But this performance was great, absolutely great. Almabayev, his wrestling is amazing. I've seen Daniel Cormier saying that fella that he always talks about, who beat him in the semi-finals of the Olympics, and then he always won in the wrestling. He's got a mad long name, I can't remember it, but Almabayev's from the same place as him. I've seen Daniel Cormier saying that where Almabayev's from, that was Dagestan before Dagestan. That was where all the crazy fighters were from. He's from there, and he is so good. I can't describe. He hasn't lost in 17 fights, and Manel Kape just schooled him. He didn't land really anything significant on Manel Kape, and I'm really excited to see what they do with Manel Kape next. I don't know what they're going to do. So Pantoja's meant to be fighting Kai Kara-France, and no one's really bothered about that fight. Kai Kara-France is on a 1-fight win streak, and don't get me wrong, it was against Steve Ercich, which is a great win, and he TKO'd him, so pretty good win. But I'm thinking, like, what then happens with Brandon Royval, who Manel Kape was meant to fight? What I think they're going to do is they'll obviously do Kai Kara-France first, Pantoja for the title, and then Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape for the #1 contenders fight. Me personally, I think I'd just go Kape France versus Manel Kape. They have beef, they hate each other, they called each other out, they didn't end up fighting, but I want to see that fight, and then the winner of that can then fight Pantoja. Pantoja's cleaned out the division. We don't need to rush him back in. And then even if, say, we wait and we do Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape in the summer, Manel Kape's fighting pretty regular too, but say we do Kape France versus Pantoja and Manel Kape versus Brandon Royval in the summer, maybe not on the same card. What do we do with the winner of Moreno versus Steve Ercich, especially if Moreno wins? Because if Moreno wins, he is the biggest name in the flyweight division. Maybe before it was maybe Makayev. I actually did think Makayev was probably the biggest name in the division, but I'm going to actually do a video on Makayev, I think, tomorrow, because how good is that win looking against Manel Kape? When we do look at the flyweight division now, it's in such a good point, such a good stage. There's loads of, bar the fact that Pantoja's beat a lot of people, the division's stacked, I think. Like, especially that top 5, all of them are so good, and I can't wait to see what they do with Manel Kape. Another person who fought on that card, Tamirov, first fight against Charles Johnson, first round or two, Tamirov was trying to take his head off. It was such a fun fight to watch, the first round or two. Then Charles Johnson tried to get back in a bit, and Tamirov kind of gassed a bit. But I think Tamirov's the real deal. He can definitely, I think, if he fought the loser, I think he should fight the loser of Steve Ercich versus Brandon Moreno. I do think Steve Ercich's going to lose. I think that'll work out perfect. But there's loads of fun matchups they can make in the flyweight division now, and I just think that Manel Kape, that win, it was so good that it actually deserves a title shot. I put a little clip out on my TikTok of like Manel Kape's last fight against Silva, saying that how he entered flow state where like Silva couldn't hit him. He was unloading the nastiest combos, and he was so good in that fight, and he's done the same again, same amazing performance in this one again. So let me know what you think, and what should we do with Manel Kape now. Such a good fight, and I really enjoyed the whole card, to be honest. I do think Manel Kape should get a title shot next, or a title eliminator. Has to be one or the other, and I do back him to win. I back him to beat Brandon Royval or Kape France. It's the Pantoja one that I'd have to proper look in and study, and then give my decision, because that's the best fight to make at the flyweight division right now. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you later.